Welcome to the greatest of the greatest. A podcast that you never knew you needed. With interviews from people you have never met, or maybe you have once or twice. Asking questions and knowing more than you want to know about them. You are listening to Full Buddy Cast.
All right, everyone. Thanks. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Full Buddy Cast Presents. We got Painted Horse in the building again. We're going to get right to it here, but let's just shout out the sponsors. We got Cole Street Brewery, 1627 Cole Street, Enumclaw, Washington. We also have Bordeaux Wine Bar. Hit them up as well. Delicious, delicious wines, as well as go to Mazatlan, Enumclaw Mazatlan, say hi to Andy. And then when you're ordering from the food truck, make sure it's O Chef Country Kitchen, located in the Crystal parking lot. You can find them on DoorDash. I know he also, Dan Coot Snyder, the man, the myth, the legend, he also is the ice cream truck that rolls around town. He did that last summer. He's doing it this summer as well. And so, as the weather cools down, he'll be making those meals. Also Patreon for Full Buddy Cast. And then if you have any that you want to shout out as well, in a moment, let me shout out my members. All right, we've got Holly Graff, Kellen Hall, Adam Kenny Art, Seth Loop, Cassie Spencer, Amanda Keating, Shekinah Sarver, Jared Skelly, Ben Illman, Jamie Roberts, Jamie Kenny, Apollo Doodle, Homer Robertson, Jackson Zyduk, Sasha Carey Lynn, Thomas Savageau, Cameron Stratton, Jackie Van Hoof, and Dan Coot Snyder. And make sure we're still recording, because there we go. Okay, good.
Yeah,
and then do you have some Patreons that you would like to shout out?
No, I do have a Patreon now.
Yes.
But, patreon.com, Painted Horse.
Painted Horse. Go join it.
And, I got a couple of friends that joined just the free part. So, you can join it. You don't have to pay money or do a membership or anything like that. You can be a freeloader. My friend Angie and my friend Laura, I think, and then my friend Scott that came here on the show before, I believe they are part of it. At least the two ladies are. Scott's he's stubborn. You got to drag that mule to the every fucking anything technological. And we had to get him to join Rumble. He just, but we love him. He's our best friend. So
nice.
He did it for us. So he went and suffered through it. Nice. So he sat over at the house with me, and we made him a Rumble page, and also he could watch us and be part of the conversations and all that. But yeah, those are the Patreon people. And then, if you want to join my Patreon, that'd be great. I'm also on Locals at Painted Horse, on Rumble at Painted Horse 9. There is a channel on there called Another Fucking Podcast if you want to join that and catch up. When I video this podcast here, I will take it and upload it, and I will put it on Another Fucking Podcast channel. So that's where you'll find them from now on. The visual, for you folks out there that like the
visual.
Yeah, I was told to deep throat the microphone earlier by the host. He says, I want your mouth on that microphone.
That's when you were on the black.
Said like this. He said, yes.
You're on the black couch for that. Now you're on the actual microphone here. So here we've got a couple things I want to talk about before we jump into what's been going on in your life. But first and foremost, all praise and glory to God, and thank you, Jesus, for your grace. That's always good after deep throating a microphone.
Yeah, I know, right? Just like I'm a complex person. The dichotomy of man.
So I was kind of, we were talking last episode about where I was getting kind of, I don't know burned out, or like, I don't know if we're going to do this anymore. And it wasn't a him thing. It was a me thing, but he's heard that his whole life. Girls telling him it's not you, it's me.
No, tell him it is me. I just didn't give a fuck. No, I understand. I told you I could relate to it because 10 years of doing a TV show, I know. Yeah.
But then I went on vacation, and it's funny. I was just like stressing about that vacation. And so once I got back from that vacation, although relaxing, It was Vegas. I love Vegas. I go there like almost every month, and the past few times I've gone, it's been with like my parents or her parents or my kids, and this one was just me and my wife.
Nice.
And so I had all these things. I didn't, it was just clouding my brain of I wanted to go to the pools, I wanted to go to casinos, I wanted to go to a show, I wanted to go to eat, I wanted to go, and I didn't realize how much that was clogging up my brain until I went there, got over, done with it. And then it was just like, as soon as I got back, I was like, oh, now I can just enjoy the rest of the summer. And immediately I was like, that's what it was. That's the only thing. So we're back. Full Buddy Cast is back. We're going. We're rolling. I should have worn the hat. Bald as heck over here. But anyway, we're rolling, and we're gonna keep it going as well.
Yes, sir.
So I want to get into what we talked about last week, but
last week,
well,
last month,
well, 3 weeks ago,
3 weeks ago, yeah, something like that.
First off, though, we do want to send prayers up for Holly over there at New York City. Sounds like she's got a stomach bug, and it's
did she?
Yeah,
I didn't hear about that.
Well, she's out and about now, but this morning it was rough going.
Okay, good,
yeah,
good,
so.
Good.
Rough for her.
No, I never want to see anyone that beautiful suffer.
Yeah. Yes, me neither.
She's a nurse.
So
she takes care of people. So she,
Yeah, she's a nurse. She's a good
like,
nurse.
She's got like the good karma sprinkles on her.
We're gonna start off a little.
And she's a fan of my voice, so right there.
She is. Yes.
I'm gonna give her all the love she deserves.
You have to at this point.
Have to.
So we're gonna talk a little bit. What I'd like to know, Texter. The texters, somebody
that wasn't me. That just a video. So you're just scrolling down your home feed, right? And you just see
on Facebook,
and like there's this video of like these dogs, this golden retrievers, run up, grabbing the backpack from the little girl as she gets off the bus, and then little boys running up, and his little puppy is bouncing around and all, and they're just showing all these dogs waiting for the kids to get off the school buses.
Super excited to see the kids.
My story with my dog, and like. Come on, man! Like I got 2 grandsons. Of course, it's the little kids and the dogs, and like, why want to share it? It was just a beautiful thing. I'm like, with all the shit that I put on my page, I'm compelled from time to time to throw in a little like curveball on people and go, "Hey, look, isn't that cute?" And goes, oh, like okay, now I'm back being an asshole. Yeah. But I give them that moment. I'm like, hey, man, I'm just a reminder. I'm human. Like, you don't have to agree with me on everything, but we can agree on this, right? That shit's cute.
Cute.
Dude, it wasn't up a minute, and they're like, "We removed your video." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, like, the one thing.
Like, what type of wood makes up the stick that is up your ass, Facebook? I want to know. Is it oak, pine? Is it a nice fir? Is it something that splinters a lot? I'm thinking it's a wood that splinters a lot.
So did someone flag that video or you? Because you said texter. It was like the person said humans are our friends. And
animals are our friends.
Yeah.
And animals are humans' friends or something like that. It's a page. It's just one of those pages where you can follow them or whatever. And there was a video.
And someone reported that video, but not you.
No, it's not even that. I think it's shit. I don't know if it's the people that are putting the video up or what, but immediately they're like, yeah, we removed your video. And you can see on the post where I show where they say they removed it because it's like I'm trolling for likes or something. And I'm like,
yeah, it looks like you're trying in a disingenuous way or misleading way or something. It's like,
yeah,
what?
I'm like, what? Like, and so I of course I fight it because I fight everything with those fascist fucks. That's just how I am. I'm old fashioned like that. I don't tend to jackboot thugs and little pussy ass wannabe tyrants.
I was wondering if it was a mutual friend that it was no longer a mutual friend that reported that.
Nothing like no. This is no. Understand when I say I'm not being hyperbolic. I might be paranoid, but that doesn't mean they aren't watching me. But no, it's an absolute fact that I am on a Facebook list of fuck with this guy, shut him down every chance you get, suppress his fucking page. And it's fact. I had a friend just recently. I said they are literally pushing my page down right now. And my friend goes, "What do you mean?" I said, instead of asking me, go look at my page and see how many posts you've missed. And a few minutes later, he comes back and goes, "Holy shit, I had no idea." And I'm like, "Okay, now you're getting it." I'm like, people are going on my page and they're scrolling like, "I didn't see that post. I didn't see that post. How did I miss all of these posts?" And I'm just like, "Why don't you ask Facebook that? Because you didn't unfollow me, right? There's no reason why I shouldn't be showing up in your feed, right? So why ain't I?" And it's because I said, "Fuck Facebook, you fascist fucks." I said, "Fuck Mark Zuckerberg, you little bitch, and all the Brazilian jiu-jitsu training in the world ain't ever going to make you ready for a motherfucker like me. But keep trying, bitch." And so now I'm on their "we don't like you" list because you said stuff that hurt our fifis. And that's okay. I'm good with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because that means I got to them. That means I'm in their fucking head. I'm living rent free because them little bitches have to watch me and fuck with my stuff because they know that I've called them out and that I'll stand up to them and I'll call them what the fuck they are. And that's why I'm really. Some people will disagree with this, and I get it. And trust me, X still has a long way to go, but it's gotten a lot better. But it has a long ways to go. Rumble, on the other hand, I'm loving me some Rumble. So fuck YouTube. I don't know if you guys heard about the GARM and the Steven Crowder and the Dunkin' Donuts shit. I'm sure you probably got questions about that because you saw my post about boycott. I will explain that.
Just go into it now.
Steven Crowder was literally named by Dunkin' Donuts when they are part of this group GARM, which is this advertising conglomerate that runs about 90% of the advertising on the internet. And so they are monopolistic, tyrannical fucking assholes about it. And they're trying to get right-wing conservative, what they deem problematic or, far right and extremist material, anything that disagrees with their globalist cabal, satanic fucking one world order bullshit. Any of us that are standing up to it, we're all, any of us that disagree, we're far right. You understand that, right? That's how it works. Like Joe Rogan and Jimmy Dore, they're far right. I mean, if you know those guys, and you'll know how ridiculous that sounds, but yeah, they're considered far right because they don't agree with the fucking mob. And so they came after Steven Crowder. I will tell you, there's only one podcast on the internet that I actually pay money for. That is Louder with Crowder. I am part of the Mug Club and fucking proud of it and happy of it. I love that guy. I love his staff and his crew. They're funny. They're entertaining, but most of all, they're informative and they're honest. Steven doesn't bullshit you. He doesn't throw fucking lies out. And what he's great about is providing sources to everything and calling these people on their bullshit. So when I see Dunkin' Donuts jumping into the fray here, I'm reminded of Michael Jordan saying, "Republicans buy tennis shoes too." Well, Dunkin', I used to buy your coffee. Used to buy your creamer, all that shit. Hell, I'd even buy your donuts from time to time if I felt the need to go in and sit around a bunch of fucking cops. I won't even look at your fucking store now, much less buy your product. You can go fuck yourself, and I hope you go out of business and have fun selling that crap to the woke mob. Let's see how much of it they'll buy from you. They'll eat you too, but yeah, you guys jump on in there and. But yeah, just the fact that you would try to use your power to remove someone. I'm sorry, but these individuals in your corporations, these DEI manager, whatever the fuck you want to call them, they're going to destroy your companies because there's more of us than there are of you. I know you like to think you have the numbers. You don't. There are more of us than there are of you, and you're going to fuck around. You're going to find out. But we can Bud Light you. We can target you, literally. Yeah. And y'all keep stumbling into your own shit. I'm amazed. I'm fascinated at the fact that these billion-dollar companies have the most retarded fucks making decisions for them when it comes to their marketing. What the fuck are you thinking?
All right, okay. Well, I'm pulling you back because if you want more of this, behold a painted horse on X, and also
thank you ought to know this. That's the podcast. Mondays and Wednesday nights with my friend JJ
on Rumble
at 7.
He will. I've only got so much time with him.
I forgot which podcast I was on for a moment there. No, I got you, bud. Yeah. But anyhow, that's the reason for
Okay.
that. So,
all right, I said a lighter note, and then that went a little bit.
Yeah.
You were ready,
and you know
you
what?
had the brave heart.
Yes,
face
I have.
paint on.
I have to remind myself too that your show is not a political show, and I can't. And I'm so geared that way,
That's
dude.
okay.
I'm just, I'm like that. But yeah, we'll try to keep it off that track because, like I said, I've got a podcast that we can do that on. So if you want to hear more, think you ought to know this.
And can you call into that? Tell me about a little bit.
You can chat. You can join the chat. You can join the chat. So it's Mondays and Wednesdays. We go on at 7 Pacific Standard Time. We did this because other than Gutfeld, which I understand if you skip us, but other than Gutfeld on Fox, we really didn't want to go up against all the bigwigs. I mean, there's Tim Pool, there's Salty Cracker, there's InfoWars is all the time. But we were trying to avoid Jimmy Dore and trying to compete with those guys. Plus, JJ works during the day, so that time of night worked best for him. Works great for me. Both days are my days off, so I'm
gives
good
you
with
plenty
that.
of time.
Gives me Tuesday off to come and do this show
Yep.
whenever you want me to. But it gives us that time, a couple of days. We would love to go full on, but it's got to make money because otherwise we can't leave our jobs until it starts making money. So you get the idea.
Right.
Both of us would love to sit there and get paid like these guys do, become professional podcasters or whatever the fuck it's called nowadays. But it's just fun now, but it's very political. We tried to lean into the local stuff a little more just to give people here locally in the Washington, Pierce, and King County area a little bit of heads up because it's hard sometimes to find out, there's 18 fucking people on the primary list there and you're going, I recognize that name. I'll just vote for them. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. That's once you start recognizing the one name out of 18 on a fucking list, it means they've been in office too long. Right. But yeah, that's kind of what we're trying to do is think you ought to know this. He and I spend a lot of time on the internet. So what we'll do is we'll go and bookmark a lot of stuff on X, YouTube, Facebook, what have you. And we'll come on and we'll just be like, hey, blah, blah, blah about this subject. And think you ought to know this. And we'll play, we'll go through and he and I will share.
So is it a little bit like the Waterboy Sports where...
Not at all. It's not even close to that. No, it's him in his place on his computer on a screen and a microphone and me on a microphone and a camera and a computer screen. And we're just set up on Rumble Studio.
And just roll with it.
And we just roll with it. And then there's a live chat you can join. I think there's a way to super chat. but point being is, no, you can join us in the chat. We can also have you brought in as part of the conversation too, to where you can set up on your computer with your webcam, whatever.
Right.
If you get in Rumble, we can bring you in and you can be one of the faces on the screen there. We did that with Scott recently.
Nice.
But we are definitely political. JJ is very much a conservative Republican. I'm a America First. The MAGA movement, I want to say I'm MAGA. I'm definitely MAGA. But part of that movement is getting way too out of fucking hand. And I'm kind of like, yeah, you guys need to fucking rein that shit in a little bit, man. Because it's like, it used to be cool being a 1%er biker until some of you douchebags out there went out there and kind of ruined it for us 1%ers. But anyhow, point being is we try to we're trying to be honest and fair, bring what we found and show it to you. But like I've always said, man, I if anyone gets it twisted, let me clarify it. Fuck the Republicans. Fuck the Democrats. They're all the same. They're just different. They're different moles. They're different moles on the same monster.
Yeah, they're
man.
in the back room, just like high five.
Bro, they're shaking hands, dude. They're shaking hands and shit and laughing with each other right after they acted like they couldn't stand each other in a speech. And they're just, and they're like, you think the American people bought that? And you're like, yeah. In the meantime, they're probably in the back room making videos, if you know what I mean. So, let me remind you what George Carlin says. These people don't care about you. They don't care. They do not give a fuck about me or you. We are not there. It's a big old club, and you and I, we ain't in it. Right. We ain't in the big old club, okay? So, and these people, they seek power. And the people, the ones that are least deserving of power, Travis, I said, are those who seek it the most, right? So we need to find people that are humble, that are tempered, that don't seek the throne, that shy away from it as much as possible until they feel they have no other choice. It's them.
Right.
Step up. No one else will. We need you to step up, you know?
All right, I'm going to rein you back in on this one. You're good. All right, we're going to do it. Now we're going to get even lighter.
Even lighter.
We have to. We have to.
It's like doing a 3-layer, 4-layer cake.
I was going to ask you right now, if you get super deep into this and you get a little bit like, because you're an intense guy, and I don't think it's me. But here's the thing.
You think?
My kids were like, dude.
Probably why I'm single still.
My kids would say, Dad, are you mad? I'm like, no, I'm just passionate.
Yeah.
It's like you can people. I used to be on staff at a church back in the day, and one of the secretaries would sit in, and we would just be like passionately talking about things.
Right.
And it's like, and at the end, she's like, "Are you guys mad at each other?" It's like, no, not at all.
No,
I'm just passionate.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not. It's I'm a little intense edge, but
I wish that was the case with Americans nowadays, but it's not. I wish that was the case with the world. I mean, you see what's going on in England. You see what's going on in France. You see, I mean, it's just
you're passionate. So okay, so if
it's hard. Well, it's hard to ignore it right now. It's like I wish I wish I could not care. I wish I could just be like, I'm going to the beach, man, woohoo! Yeah. You know, I tell people sometimes, I'm like, somebody asked me, said, man, why do you smoke weed? I said, so I can function with the rest of you.
That's good. That's
I mean, I know it sounds funny, but I'm dead serious. Like it's like so I can function with the rest of you, because if I'm straight sober, this brain, dude, a couple cups of coffee, and the world on fire, and yeah, I'm off and running. But yeah, you'll see on the Water Boys here, the upcoming episodes. You'll see what was going on 20 years ago. It's going to get real interesting, folks. Fans of the Water Boys Sports Show. It's on Facebook. If you'd like to join that page, it's a private page. You're more than welcome to send us a request.
It's got great stuff, guys. And
we try, and it's not just old videos of our shows. We're trying to add, we share other stuff from the internet. I try to keep it either like, wow, Bo Jackson was incredible, or funny stuff like that Australian breakdance.
Dude, move over, Hawk Tua girl.
Sick moves.
Yeah, so here's the Cookout 400. We got to throw this out for G. Scott Samms. We just got to talk about this for him,
dude. Speaking of G. Scott Samms, her sickest move, dude, had to be the Godzilla. That's what I'm calling it. If anybody else got a better name for it, by all means, but I think I've nailed it right there. Yeah, I thought it was the Godzilla, dude. Yeah. She was ready to stomp Tokyo, man. I was just like, yeah, girl, go with your badass self. But he's he's a little upset, and he's my buddy and all, but fuck Austin Dillon. Put my boy into the wall. Fuck you and your crew chief, you little prick bastard.
Dude, I couldn't believe that. Hit Logano.
Logano and fucking Denny. And you could do it anywhere you want, son, but you did it in Richmond, boy. Boy, oh my Lord.
So if you don't know what happened, it was the last lap of the Cookout 400, and it's at Richmond Motor Speedway. Mm-hmm. And coming down last turn, you've got Joey Logano in the lead, and Austin Dillon drives right into the back of him, into the in the corner, looses him up, and then also kind of loosens himself up where he has to regain. But Denny Hamlin swoops right by. He's gonna take over, and then he knocks Denny Hamlin, and then he cruises on to win the race.
Did you hear what the crew chief said?
Nope.
Rumor is that in NASCAR listened to the radio, and his crew chief was screaming, wreck him.
Really?
I don't know if that's true.
Or Hamlin?
Hamlin.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, somebody ought to whip that crew chief's ass.
Yeah.
I volunteer.
Send me.
Fucking hey, Denny, if you out there and you hear this, buddy, you need somebody that can be off the record, as it were. I'm your Huckleberry.
So how mad was G. Scott Samms?
Oh, I don't know how mad he is. I mean, I know he likes Austin Dillon.
Oh, so
and I know he has.
Was there any text exchanges?
I know there were no tears rolling down his cheeks for Denny Hamlin. And he knows my feelings about Joey Logano. So it's an absolute fucking love fest in NASCAR when it comes down this whole shit show. But Scott believes that NASCAR created this by themselves manipulating the rules and such, and this green-white checker finish. So he would be much more informed on the conversation to have if you really want to get in depth with him, but me just glossing over my small amount of knowledge. By the way, went to Tenino last Saturday before last, and had a great time. So South Sound Speedway, you guys are awesome. Always love coming down there. Next time Scott says we're not going to sit in the family section, we're going to go over sit where the single women are. So who knows what could happen? I might get a checkered flag.
Well, speaking of you two Roman places, I don't want to get any spoilers out on this because I know that there's probably people that may have not have seen it.
What's
but
that?
You guys were able to go to Deadpool together.
Oh yeah.
And then do you have what's your rating on it?
I enjoyed the shit out of it. I try to remind people, and I think what was really helpful was the director or someone did an interview before the movie came out. And it took a while for this movie to come out. We all waited a long time. But there was an article where the director, I believe, said, Deadpool fans need to understand this is not Deadpool 3. This is a different Deadpool story. So don't look at this as Deadpool 3. And if you look at the movie, you see what it is. It's a multiverse movie. It's nothing to do with the storyline. My biggest fan has nothing to do with the storyline that ended after Deadpool 2. So knowing that going in helped, because then you're not going in with this idea like, wait, what? What? How did that happen? It's like, no, man, this is a multiverse story. So, of course, there's going to be time jumps and shit like that. And so you expect it. And so I was thankful for that. And thus, it leads right back to my multi-billion-dollar fucking idea. If anybody out there sees this video, hears this podcast, hear me now. A Rick and Morty Deadpool multiverse mashup will drain me of every fucking dollar I have. I swear to you,
no more AC,
dude.
It's gone.
And I told you as I rolled in here, so I want it on the record now. Your show and this video. I did come in. The multiverse. If you watch this Deadpool and Wolverine, you realize there's like Lady Deadpool and there's Deadpool Dog and there's Deadpool. So I was on the way over here and thinking, as I was listening to Fear Inoculum, blasting out my speakers, how cool would it be to have a Maynard James Keenan Deadpool and call him Deadtool?
Ooh. Holly's on your team on that one.
I'm on that shit. So that's mine. That's mine.
Deadtool.
Can't take it.
I like it.
I licked it. It's mine.
Yeah, you dibs.
It's fine. Deadtool. So yeah, I'm gonna have to find some way to get an artistic mashup, but maybe Maynard as the Harlequin, dressed up as the Harlequin, and then put the Deadpool face over him or something. We'll figure it out. AI will help, I'm sure, but we'll get her done. So.
Well, then we're just gonna
Holly.
This last little moment about Scott, and then we'll move on to Scott. But so I was watching a clip from the Waterboys, and I always mess up that name too. I think I got it right for the first time. Right, Waterboys.
Yeah, the Waterboys
Sports Show.
Yeah, the Waterboys Sports Show.
Good.
Yeah.
So Spark. SPARC.
Oh, the girl after us? Oh,
yeah.
So you saw that clip you
I
put
saw
up
that
of her?
clip, and then were they talking? Was she like, because she was talking about NASCAR, she talked about the Mariners, and was there, I was trying to figure out if the voices were.
Her bean was marinating and ready for the stew, y'all, after watching the Waterboys. That's all I know is that woman. Her pot was all warmed up.
She was talking. I think dropping, like not name dropping, but like
she was giving hints. Yeah, she was definitely dropping hints.
And that wasn't his voice or your voice going on there, just kind of disguising it on the phone call or whatever.
No, not at all.
Okay,
no,
all
not
right.
at all. No.
And now is she now?
No, I was more inclined to fucking with Sister Mary, but that's Pastor Mary. Sister Mary, Pastor Mary. That's funny because I dated Sister Mary. That's a true story.
You dated a nun?
No. You know Queensryche?
You're asking the wrong guy. I'm sorry.
You don't know who Queensryche is?
I don't.
You don't know who the band Queensryche is?
I don't.
Oh my God.
Get out of Washington now.
Okay. Well, anyhow, the hard rock phenomenon band with Jeff Tate, known as Queensryche, had an album called Operation Mindcrime, and in that, it's a concept album. There is a character, a lady named Sister Mary. She's a nun that works for this organization, and our main character, the protagonist in this story, is supposed to kill a priest and then kill her too, but he falls in love with her. So it's a whole story. If you know Queensryche, you know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, when they did their tour, they brought this world-class singer to play Sister Mary. Her name's Pamela Moore, and she lived in the mother-in-law of, I don't know if it was Howard Leese or the other guy, but one of them has a place in Kent. And it's like a fucking mansion. And as a mother-in-law, and that's where she lived when she and I were dating. In fact, when I started singing for Haunting the Disconnect in 2011, she was my vocal instructor that got me all prepped and ready to go do the audition and everything. So I owe her a huge debt of gratitude. I also hooked her up with my friend's band in Arizona. That's the Queensryche tribute band, the Reich, the guy that helped me find my daughter.
Yeah.
See how this is all
See
connected?
all playing together.
See how this all comes together?
Yeah.
But yeah,
you have your own multiverse. I'm noticing as well.
Yeah. I really do, dude. Like I said, I have a fascinating story, man. It's to sit down and discuss it on. There's so many details and so many paths that could lead off to another story. It's just a life, man. Some of us go out there and live these extraordinary existences, and it's not even trying sometimes, but sometimes it's just one move. My move was that night in Richmond. We just passed it the other day, 38 years ago, August 10th, 1986. I stepped out onto the I-64 in Richmond, Virginia, and headed west.
And that was your first.
That was it for me. I was 19 years old. I had been born and raised, grown up in Richmond, Virginia, and had always wanted to be in California. So I started my journey across the country. That was August 10th. So what's the day? The 13th. So 3 days ago.
Yeah.
That was a recent anniversary.
So with that said, with the Water Boys Sports Show, we talked about it a little bit. You've talked about it quite a bit, that as Scott is uploading these episodes that were on, and for people just might be listening for the first time, they were on public access in the Seattle area, and Puget Sound area. So it was a show that you guys put on, but it's to the day he's uploading these 20 years later. So you're going back in time, and exactly. you know Billy now, but you see him back then. He hasn't changed much. You really haven't.
I know. It's just, appearance wise.
Just the beard, a little white in the hair. That's it.
I'm still me.
Exactly.
I'm true to myself.
And you can still see the wheels turn in the same way too, in his head, and in the same way that you even have a cadence in how you talk. It's pretty interesting. But we know that you're coming up on a divorce. Yes. We know that you're coming up on some things that kind of hit the fan due to an injury. You've talked about that in the past, due to an injury, work-related injury, and getting prescribed prescription pills, and then having that kind of knock you off the track.
Everything, dude. Yeah.
And then last episode we talked about how you had some jail time, and now we're in a spot where I really
back to the past episode. Okay,
I'm really wanting to hear what caused the change. Why are you here? In a sense, when I look at you here now, I don't see, obviously a drug addict. I see someone with
look harder.
with
I'm an alcoholic
with a great job. That reconciled with your kid. You got grandkids. Like you're going you just went to your sister's wedding. Like it seems like you're in a completely different place. Although it seems looking 20 years back with these videos, you're kind of the same dude.
Yeah.
And so, just wanting you to fill in the blanks there.
I'm the same guy, but I'm different, if that makes sense. I mean, well, and I'll tell you why. Finding my daughter, it's absolutely. Multiple people commented on it that they said you could just see the change in you after your daughter came in your life. Like your whole focus, everything that was important to you, was back burner now, and she was like, it was just my daughter, and it wasn't about you anymore. About, hey, look at me. It was like, hey, look at my daughter. And like I'm still like that. I'm like, look at my daughter, look at my grandsons, right? So what happened was so I'm sitting in Skagit County Jail. This is the old jail. Fortunately, they'd spring people early for good behavior. I was due out on July 30th, 2008. But I'd been in isolation the whole time. So anyhow, hadn't been out in the day yard for a month. They hadn't let me out. And I kept asking them, can I get some time outside, man? I've been in here for a month. And so literally from like June 5th till about July 5th, I didn't get outside. They didn't take me out. They didn't let me out for shit. I just got forgotten over in isolation. They forgot I was over there. Sometimes they're like, oh shit, Custalow, we forgot you were over here. I'm like, that's great. That's nice. Anyhow, they finally let me out. So June 30th, I realized, okay, I'm going to be out in exactly a month. I've got all these opiates still. The doctors in the jail had cut my dosage in half because they agreed that I was prescribed way too much. But they still locked me up for some fucking reason. Anyhow, I decided on June 30th, 2008, I don't want to take these pills anymore. When I get out of jail, my ex-girlfriend's already stolen all my shit, my wedding rings, my electronics, my belongings, anything that's worth any money that I could possibly sell to survive on. Thank God for good friends and old debts. Yeah. I get out of jail and I'm 5 days clean, and they come and they let me out in the yard to walk around. I told them, hey, I'm quitting the pills. And so the word finally got around to all the jail guards that, hey, Custalow's cleaning out. He's going through DTs. And I look like shit. I looked exactly how I felt. Anyhow, she comes to let me out, and I'm outside. I'm not out there 2 minutes, and the door opens, and the guard goes, all right, Custalow, let's go. You're out of here. And I about lost my shit. I go, I haven't been outside in a fucking month. I haven't been out. I just walked around this yard. And she's like, no, you don't understand. You're out of here. And I'm like, I just came out of here. And she's like, you're not hearing me. You're out of here. And then it registered. I went, what? And she goes, yeah, the jail's full. We got to let you go. Your time served. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry. And as bad as I felt, I mean, dude, I'm 5 days into folks, if you've ever done opiates or heroin and you haven't done them for 5 days, if you're a smoker and you haven't smoked for 5 days, you get where I'm going. If you're a heavy drinker and you haven't drank for 5, do you get where I'm going here? It's hard to make you happy. That made me fucking happy. I'm like, oh. So yeah, I was throwing my commissary and shit to people. Here, you can have this. Here, I don't need this anymore. I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. I'm going to eat real food. Anyhow, that was July 5th. I got out. Friend let me stay at a house that he had up in North Seattle for a minute. So I stayed there. And then my friend Scott was delivering for this company. And JJ worked there. He was one of their top dogs. So JJ became my boss. So I was overnight dispatcher for lost and delayed luggage from SeaTac. And so I did that for a little while. And as I was doing that, the company, something happened, and they told me. It was weird because, what was it about? I gave my motorcycle. I had my big dog, and I was 3 months behind. I needed to get new tabs and couldn't because I'm behind in payments. So I just call him. I'm just like, come get the bike, and I'm just like, my heart's just shattered, man. I've become a felon, lost my girlfriend, lost everything, given my motorcycle back, and I'm working at this job now. It's thankful for the job, but it's not gonna, I'm not going to be moving upward real quickly at it. So I'm just kind of like, wow, this is fucked. And then all of a sudden, the paralegal from Bellingham calls me and says, hey, the injury claim that you tried to, that you requested to be reopened last November. And ironically enough, it was on my ex-wife's. This is like on her birthday, November 16th of the previous year of 2008, 2007. November 16th, 2007, I had requested the case, my neck injury be reopened, and they refused. So this time's passing, and I'm going to see doctors, I'm getting prescriptions, I'm going to jail, all that shit. Well, the case gets reopened. They relent because the IMEs and all this shit. So she goes, okay, well, they end up sending me. Just the settlement was a nice chunk. It came in 2 different checks. Just put it that way, because it was very hefty sums. And that money gave me, for the first time in a long time, the freedom and the independence to do what I wanted to do, which was get my own house down in South Seattle with a big basement and grow weed. And so I did. And I grew a lot of weed. But I got a computer, got online, got on Facebook. This is back before Facebook became a bunch of fascist douches. And and I started looking up friends down in Arizona I hadn't spoken to in years. And boom, I come across my friend Norm, and I come across my friend Tony, and I come across all these people that I know from Arizona. And so next thing I know, I'm on a plane in August down to Arizona, and this is 09, and I'm seeing my friend. I remember my friend Barry said one thing to me when I got that settlement. He says, dude, because he had known me a while, he says, I've never seen anybody so fucking lucky when it comes to money as you. I go, what do you mean? He goes, every time it looks like you're about to bottom out, you're just about to go down, something comes along and you're just fat again. He goes, I've never seen anything like it. You got a fucking, like a guardian angel. You got a lucky charm or something. And I'm like, yeah, I do. So, I'm pretty blessed, man. But anyhow, I went down to Arizona and saw my friend Norm, and he and his girlfriend Carissa had gotten married, and they had a daughter, Taylor, and she's like 8 years old. And I'm down there, and he's got this beautiful home in East Mesa, and we're hanging out. And she's heard so much about me, her dad, because he and I hadn't spoken in 15 years. It's funny because I owed him money for a PA system that had gotten stolen when my band in Phoenix had gotten robbed. And that was the reason I moved back up to Seattle in '94. I think I told this story. So I paid him back for 15 years later.
Oh,
said,
wow.
Oh, hey, by the way, stop by this Bank of America. He goes, why? I said, I just need to get some money. So pull over, and I pull the money out, and I hand him. He goes, what's that? I go, remember that PA system that you guys remember it? And I said, I told you I'd pay you back someday. I go, yeah, here it is someday.
Wow.
He was floored by that. But that's the kind of person I am, man. I don't forget my debts. Like, if, just because I didn't pay you doesn't mean I've forgotten about it. It just means that I probably didn't have it to give. But if I see you and I have it, you're getting it.
Right.
I'm just big on that. It's integrity. Anyhow, he just sees me with his daughter, and he's just like, Nikki, dude, have you ever found your daughter? And I was like, I don't even know if she's mine or not. He goes, but you ought to at least try to find her. And I'm like, yeah, I have, dude. I go, I don't know how, though. I go, I type her mom's name, and just on the story.
Right.
But so anyhow, he goes, here, this is something that a friend of mine or something, whatever. And he gave me this address or whatever website. So I got back to Seattle, and I looked it up and paid the money for it. And did this wide search, and her mom had one time, by the grace of God, her mom had put her name on something. Boom, got it.
Yeah. Now, it's a good story.
Yes.
You've told it 3 times.
Okay, I know. Okay.
So I want to.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get back for the people that haven't. So where are we at here? So I'm coming out of jail. That was the
Yes.
That was the story. There was just, and so now I'm back down to Arizona.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so. In February I go back,
Right.
whenever we found the address and all. So
Right.
yeah, we can tie it up right there. But that's what happened coming out of jail.
Okay.
So that's what your original question was.
It was
trying to get out of the jail part
it
up
was-
to where I'm
so-
back in Arizona.
Yeah. So then you found her.
Yes.
And
right.
so, which is a great story.
Right.
And I just want to make sure that I'm not trying to steal your joy.
No.
but
Let's
it's a
move on.
great
Let's move
story.
on. No, let's move on because there's other stuff. So
Yes.
you heard. So that was the reason of bringing up Sister Mary too.
Okay.
So I joined this band. So I found my daughter. taking her back to Virginia. She's met the family, blah, blah, blah. That's 2010. Now here comes 2011, and I'm thinking I'm full of myself. I'm happy, man. I've got this house. I'm making money.
Got your
Got
daughter.
my daughter, dude.
Yes.
I am rocking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm ready to sing again. Like, you know, I stopped singing when I married
Stars
that bitch.
have aligned.
I'm gonna go back. So I went out and I found this, and I mean, I'm glad I found him. I wish it could have worked out. But the band Haunting the Disconnect, I found him. I played the music for Pamela, and she heard him. She's like, "Oh, Nikki, baby, this is you." She goes, "This is totally right in your wheelhouse." And I'm like, "I know." And so she helped me train and all, and I joined them. And the funny thing was, so I auditioned. They said, "We'll call you back." So I come back for another audition, and they're like, "Okay." And as I'm leaving, they're like, "All right, well, we'll let you know, okay?" And I'm like, "Okay, I've come back for the second audition.
Right.
If I walk out this fucking door and go get on that light rail and go back home, you'll never see me again. If you do, it'll be when my band is setting up after yours."
Yeah.
What
a line.
You know, you got to believe in yourself. But as I'm walking out, I got a few steps down the hallway, and I'm shaking my head, and then I'll hear the door. "Hey, Nikki, can you come back here for a minute, please?" and the drummer Mark is like, "Man, we're fucking idiots, dude. Like, we're sorry, dude. Dude, do you want to be our singer?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yes." So the cool thing is that happened, I think, April 30th, and the following day they took that fucker Osama bin Laden out. So it was like one of those just like, yeah, moments in history for me. So, and yeah, I'm singing for Haunting the Disconnect, and first song I wrote is Petulant. I don't know. Have you seen the rock video that I've put up?
If you post it to Full Buddy Cast,
I will put it on Full Buddy Cast.
Okay.
But yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel. It's we made a video for the song Petulant. It was the very first song I wrote, and in fact, the inspiration behind the song was Maynard James Keenan, Holly. So there you go. So
I do love that that's a new thing now.
So
I'm gonna drop this every single time in an episode.
So yes. Well, I mean, hey man, we're Tool
Waldo.
fans. Tool Army ain't no joke, bro. I'm telling you. But I told Kylie during that time, I knew her lifestyle in Arizona was not surprising to someone who's lived as a young person in Arizona.
Okay.
I'm not going to judge her because she's my daughter, but even if she wasn't, I ain't going to judge her because, like I said, I was a young person in Arizona.
Right.
I could tell you 19, 20 years old in Phoenix, Arizona in the 80s, you were probably doing some really fucked up shit. I was. It's okay. You're amongst friends. You can be honest. So I told her, honey, when you're done with that wicked fucking den of iniquity and you're ready to get the fuck out of that dirty, dusty shithole, let me know. You know, because I was all set up. And then all of a sudden, I was just praying, God, please let her move up here. So badly wanted my daughter. Next thing I know, I wish it could have been under different circumstances, but the shit happened that happened. It was unfortunate. I'm thankful to God that she survived, that she wasn't hurt. She had a water heater in the place that they were living in apparently blow up.
Wow.
Moments after she had just walked out of the laundry room. So I'm thankful to God that she, wasn't hurt, but the place apparently burned down. So I don't know. It's a long story. I ain't never gone in. I've never sat her down and done the prosecuting attorney grill job on her, and I ain't going to. All I know is that somehow or another, God had found a way to send her ass up here. So she ended up moving up here. And funny thing is, when I came up here to Seattle the very first time, it was October 14th or 15th of 87 or 88. She comes up here in 2011, October 13th, like literally within days.
Right,
so she and I both, our first trips to Seattle, to Washington, are like within a day of each other, just years later. But I'm like, she's my little mini me. Dude.
Yeah.
She's so much like me. And that's the problem sometimes is she's so much like me. And I'm just like, that's the part that pisses people off. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, now I get it.
I see it.
But yeah, she moved up here and bro, I have never had more fun living with someone in my entire fucking existence as I did for that short period, that 6 months that she and I got to be roommates. We watched Jerry Springer every morning. We had breakfast. We would go out for walks. We would go and get weed. I would just go down and I would pull weed and I would just roll joints as fat as my fucking, And we just sit there and I just roll these big old Marleys, man, and hold up to my fucking index finger. I'm just like, it's as fat as your index finger. I'm like, I know, right? It's good to be the king. Yeah, and it was my weed, so I knew it was good shit. But we just bonded, dude. Like 19 years of not being able to. We just in 6 months we bonded so freaking hard. We just became best friends. And then I went on tour with the band. I didn't want to go on tour. I keep coming back to the God has a plan, man.
Mhm.
I didn't want to do this tour with these guys. And it was fateful because it ended up breaking the band up in Reno. Oh God, Reno's a shithole. Yeah, stay. You definitely want to go to Vegas. No, Reno is a shithole, especially the back alleys behind the clubs. I can tell you that from experience. But I didn't want to go on this tour, but we ended up doing it. And there's a video. I also have a video up of the Knitting Factory in Boise. I don't know if you've ever heard of that club. It's called the Knitting Factory. It's a big venue. We were there, and we weren't the headliner, but we were the next for the headliner. And the place was packed, and it was one of the biggest shows I've ever played in my life. And I recorded it, thank God, and it was great. We rocked it. We had, I mean, a little couple of glitches here and there, but for overall, it was a great show. And then the next night, we were like, "Fuck yeah, I'm on a plane back to Seattle." But during that time, while I was gone, my daughter had taken the pickup truck and driven over to Alki. Now, understand, if I'm walking with her down Alki, no young man is going to run up on her and go, "Yo, girl, what's your name? What's your number? Let me get your digits," or none of that shit, right? But I wasn't with her. So Victor, my son-in-law, walks up to her and introduces himself, and they haven't been apart since.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Now, did you like Victor as soon as you met him, or was it did protective dad instincts kick in just a tad?
To be honest, so they had gone out. I didn't even get to meet the guy. I didn't even know what the fuck he looked like. When he grabbed her out of the driveway and they took off, and then she disappeared for 3 days. Ooh. I did learn, however, how much of a fucking asshole I was when my daughter disappeared for 3 days with someone I didn't fucking know, and I'm freaking out like, where's my little girl?
Right.
And then I thought about it, and well, she came home, and all, and it was one of those learning moments for me, big time learning moments. I've been around other people's kids, watched them, whatever, but it's just something different when it comes to your own. And I wasn't around to raise her.
Right.
So there's a lot of shit going on in me that I have to deal with. But at that moment, man, I knew what it felt like to be a terrified parent, scared to death of something that happened to your child. And so I remember that moment, and it was very emotional, but I ended up calling my mom, and I'm just crying, and she's like, "What's wrong, baby?" And I'm like, "I'm so sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry I ever did that to you." Because I thought about it. I'm like, this little girl did 3 days. Dude, you did months. You disappeared sometimes for a year or two. Your mom didn't know whether you were dead or alive. You're running dope in Arizona, 20 years old. Your mom didn't hear from you except maybe Christmas. And I mean, that was it. And then she doesn't know what I'm doing the rest of the time out there. So I thought about that and was like, my God, what it must have been like for that woman to try to sleep every night wondering if her baby boy, her firstborn son,
right,
her only son, she has other children,
right,
but her firstborn son, is he alive? Is he
phones,
okay?
No.
My answering machine said, "Hey, you can reach me on my pager." That sure made her feel comfortable. My son, who doesn't have a job, has a pager. And she's like, "That's not suspicious or anything." I told her, "Oh yeah, Mom, you're exactly what you thought and worse. So don't think you were off. You were definitely on." But she met Victor. And so I think to myself, and like I told her, it's hard sometimes to come to grips with like, wow, I wish I had done that differently or made a different choice. But I'm like, but think about where you're at. Think about how grateful you are for what you have. Now understand, those decisions you made, they might have all been right in your opinion, but they definitely got you right where you need to be right now. So sometimes you're going to fuck up, but it's going to wind you up where God needs you to be. And sometimes the story doesn't play out the way we've scripted it in our heads. And here I am now, telling you this stuff. Like I said, I'm 57 years old, and I'm shocked I made it past 27.
Yeah. Well, I was actually at church this past week, and they were talking about how the things that were meant to destroy us in our life, when God gets involved, it's actually the thing that pulls us out of it.
Yep.
And so, that it's really cool. The whole story, just, of your daughter. So, well, I want to ask, like, did you relapse? Did you have any sort of like struggles with that? Or was it just one of those things where it's just like, you know what? I know what that looks like. Yeah, I'm not going down that road.
No, I knew once she came up and she had her bouts with the opiates and shit. When I first met her, when I took her back to Virginia, she was coming down off of opiates. And she hit it. She did so well. She put up such a strong face in front, but I could tell she wasn't feeling good. And you know what was great about that? Instead of being like really, I bring you all this way and just,
right.
So, and not understanding, like thinking they're just faking it, or they're just like, because you don't understand like how just horrible you feel on that, coming off of those things. I had though. I had just gone through it. And so now here I am with this little girl that her smile looks exactly like mine. And she's doing everything she can to try to make me happy and not disappoint me. And all I can think is, oh, you poor sweet baby. Like, I said, honey, you don't worry about nothing.
Right.
You just lay down till you feel. So I made it easier for her to deal with it while we were on that trip. And then she bucked up. She came out and met her grandfather and everything for dinner at Red Lobster on a Sunday right after Dad church. She missed his sermon at this church, which she to this day she regrets. She to this day she's like, God, Dad, I feel so bad that I really wish I could have seen Granddad.
So let's say that she stayed in bed. Was that the last time she would have hung out with him in person?
No, she saw him. So she came out. Mama and Sonny dropped her off at the Red Lobster, and me and Maria, my sister just got married. Me and Maria and Dad's wife Karen and Dad. I think Maria's kids were with us, and I don't remember if her ex-husband Michael was with us or not. But anyhow, we were there at the Red Lobster, and I knew Kylie wasn't feeling well, but she just sucked it up and was like, pleasant and polite and respectful. And she knew this was a big deal. It was a big deal for me. It was a big deal for her. It was a big deal for everybody, because they're like, Billy's bringing his daughter home. And it's not his little newborn daughter, which, they probably figured, yeah, if Billy's going to bring a daughter home, it'll be a daughter that's 19 fucking years old, and he'll have the story of why we didn't know her sooner. But yeah, leave it up to me to fuck up a good thing. Anyhow, that's probably why I'm single. And
Okay, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Any hot girls out there that's looking for a man? This is where we're trying.
Don't look at me.
I have to plug this. I have to plug. Listen, in the contract that we've written together,
I identify as homosexual now, so I can use the F word.
I have to.
See how that works?
I have to mention. Think you ought to know. I have to mention.
Think you ought to know this.
Sorry. Think you ought to.
You keep fucking that up. Think you ought to know this.
I think I should know
that.
I
think
too.
You ought to know this.
But anyway, and then also any hot babes out there that are single want to take you out.
Well, just you nuttier than the squirrel shit ones can avoid that conversation. Go get yourself right, girl. I'm not here to fix you. I'm not qualified. Trust me. I've been around enough of them. I probably should be, but I'm not. I'm not in that mindset. But bringing it back around to where were we going with this?
You were talking about why. Well, I was talking about. You said this is probably why I was single, but I remember. So we were talking. Sorry, I got sidetracked too. We were talking about how your daughter was there, sucking it up, was there for the family at Red Lobster.
Oh, no, she got to see her grandfather. She got to see him then, and then we went to the reservation because Dad lived on the reservation in the same house that my grandparents lived in, and all the Custalows that listen to this podcast that are living on the reservation, you can show them just whatever. You can post pictures in the comments. Yeah, Dad, bro, you got to see our reservation. We're right by the river, the Mattaponi River.
Oh, wow.
And I guess the state just ceded 100. I heard it was 120 acres. It might be more than that. It's a big fucking chunk of land. They just ceded back to the Mattaponi I think it's the Mattapanai. I don't know if it's the Pamunkey too or just the Mattapanai. But anyhow, we're starting to get land back to us, which is kind of cool. We'll see if it means anything for me for my future endeavors, because I'd really like to build a house or take my grandparents' house there and live there and then build on it, because it's right by the river, and it'd be real nice to have my boat launched and stuff down.
Is what's keeping
fishing
you
on the river every morning?
Is what's keeping you in Washington? Is it your daughter
Absolutely.
and grandkids?
Absolutely.
That's the only thing at this point. You got good friends here and all that.
Good friends.
Good job, but
my tribe,
yes.
my people, that river, that land, the history, the blood. It's just, yeah, man. I would love to be able to have a spot of land on that reservation and move my daughter and grandsons down there someday.
Yeah.
Or have them come and stay there eventually or whatever.
Right.
But like I told you before, I'm just as inclined to move out here to the foothills out here, out here by a river and by the woods and all, and have myself a nice big spread with the fenced off property and stay the fuck out. And I got a horse barn and, fields of my own food and my own water supply.
Horse barn might get you pretty far
here. Ability to generate electricity power plus generator stores, battery stores, just so I can live off the grid, off of the fucking main lines, and then stay the fuck out, like if you don't belong here, don't come here, and I'm not trying to be antisocial, but I am being antisocial because there's some people out there nowadays that are just, I don't want to go back into the political thing, but fuck y'all.
That's it. Think you ought to know this.
Think you
Rumble,
ought to know this.
Mondays and Wednesdays
at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do you have some questions?
I've been just jotting some notes here and there.
Okay. I
got my final question because I want to do shout outs and then we're going to go into the questions. Okay,
absolutely.
Well, I got to shout out Nick. Nick's moved out, right?
Yes, Nick's moved out.
But as you're talking,
best tenant I ever had.
Dude. As you're telling me stories, I realize you guys have something similar in common: a voice. Now his band. He was the lead singer of his band. Yeah. Did you guys ever have I know jam sessions sound weird.
Never.
But did you guys ever let's just throw the karaoke machine on?
The only thing we ever had was Nick listening to me rant for 2 hours after he got home from work, and then me going, "Oh shit, I got to go to bed. Hey, sorry for talking your ear off." And Nick is an excellent listener. He's a very
nice guy.
He's a very nice guy. He's a very gentle soul, and I feel fortunate to have him as a friend in my life now. But yeah, he was the of all of the tenants I've had, he was absolutely the top shelf, number one. Polite, respectful, quiet, clean. Left that room looking just the way it did when he moved in.
But no singing, no grounds.
No, dude, nothing like that. And that's unfortunate.
Unfortunate
that we're just, I have instruments and everything at my house and all, but we just haven't, that scenario just
never
really
played out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I would love to. Somebody asked me the other day at work, they're like, are you in a band or anything? And I go, no, but I'm open for anybody.
Do you ever just kick
needs
around
a singer?
the idea?
I'm down, man. Well, fuck, I've got equipment. I'd have to go buy my own PA again, but I do have my own microphone.
But do you ever go hit a karaoke bar or lounge or anything and just kind of just let it rip one time?
Wouldn't mind doing that, but no, I haven't. Like I said, if some lady out there wants to go out on a date and see what I'm about, let's go to a karaoke bar.
Karaoke bar.
Yeah, invite me out to karaoke bar. I can impress you on the karaoke stage, girl. Tell you what. I come with receipts, baby. Yeah.
That would be fun. That's
I like doing the songs that really get people going. I remember I did karaoke one time, and it was Puddle of Mud. Forgotten songs of yesterday. I was singing that, and blurry. And I come off out of the room, and the bartender's just looking at me. And I remember my ex-wife sitting there, and she's just, because she was one of those Vegas showgirls that like to have all the attention on herself and anybody else drew the attention away. I was supposed to be her trophy. I was just supposed to be her dude. It's a long story, but just another lesson learned. But I just remember walking off, and the chick behind the bar, she's just looking at me. Now, understand, I haven't sang in years.
Right.
I'm married, and I quit the band and everything when I was with her and all this. So I yeah, I'm just feeling that juice coming off. I'm like, I nailed that shit. And but the bartender behind me, she's like, oh my God. And I go, what? She goes, you're fucking amazing. She goes, you sounded just like him. And she goes, I love that song, but you sounded just like him. And I'm like, oh, wow, thanks. And I remember looking at my wife. But one of the people at the bar is like, dude, you ever thought about singing in a band? And my wife, I could see the look on her face like, fuck. Like, because she knew. Like, I used to tell her all the time, I'm like, I quit singing for this marriage.
Right.
I was working at this utility company that I don't want to name because fuck, you guys all know who they are up here in Washington and, in Seattle, whatever, you know who they are. But I quit, cut my hair, got this job, stopped doing all that, and just put in my head that, no, it's time to grow up and be a man.
Right.
And then, I just don't ever do that. Don't ever stop doing what you love to do, thinking that you're sacrificing something for somebody. Fuck them. If they're asking you to give up doing stuff that you love to do, now granted, if it's going out and fucking binge drinking with your buddies, yeah, okay, maybe not so much. But no, man, if they're telling you that the artistry, the hobby that you have is somehow childish, immature, fruitless, irrelevant, whatever, fuck them. Find someone better because they don't deserve you, because those things I've found that give you that kind of joy that you enjoy doing, that you're good at. Maybe you're not good at, maybe you just enjoy doing it, but you enjoy doing it. Don't let them take that from you. No one has the fucking right to take your joy from you.
Nope.
Okay. So if you enjoy doing that, that's the lesson I learned. Love is this emotion that can fuck your head up and everything. Don't let it do it if you can. The things that give your heart that fullness, that's what you hang on to. And if someone comes along and says, hey, to be with me, you have to give that away, give it up. Whether it's music, your children, fantasy football, fuck her or him. Okay. There you go.
Well, fantasy football. Don't give, yeah.
Bro,
definitely.
I know. It's that time too, buddy. I'm ready to take some money.
I know. It's good stuff.
Ready to take some people's money.
Yeah.
Hey, putting it out there too. If you've got fantasy football league that, is about this and needs an owner, I'm your Huckleberry.
There you go.
Get in touch with me. I ain't even joking, man.
Line them up.
I'm already in one, and I'm in a couple, but I'm in one that's money, and I'd like to get in a few more because I like money.
I got one that you can join. Anyone wants to join it too? I'll message me. It's a weekly one that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hit me up with that. I'll get that.
You have a budget, and then you get new players every week. But
okay.
You get and then highest score gets money. It gets all about 25 dudes.
I'd like to do a pool, the pick'ems.
Yes.
Like I'd like to get a group of people to do
Those
that.
are fun.
Well, so when I worked at that utility company, there was a guy who used to bring in a sheet every week during the season, and you would have all of the games, right?
Yeah.
And you would pick the team, and then the tiebreaker. So you pick Monday night. The tiebreaker was the total number of points, right? And anyhow, it was $5 a sheet. And it was first, second, and third place. So it was 60, 30, 20, or no, 50, 30, 20. That's what it was, 50, 30, 20, right? So you get $300 in there.
Dude, it's
on a $5 lay, man. You get all these dudes are just jumping in. There'd be 40, 50, 60 dudes sometimes jumping in. And yeah, man, and then if there was a tie, or was it a tie? How was it? There was something that it would roll over. No, maybe I'm thinking another one. No, so anyhow, but every week we would do that. So I'd like to do something like that again.
Yeah.
Something that's, affordable for guys, but at the same time enticing, because it's like, dude, if you're looking there and you're seeing like 30, 40 dudes, you realize your $5 could win you $100 some dollars. I mean, come on.
I got another one for you then too.
Huh?
Yeah, I've got another one for you.
Yeah, okay.
I'll talk to you.
All right. Hook a brother up.
All right. All right. Well, while I wrap this puppy up, I got
Absolutely.
Yeah. And think you ought to know this. Mondays and Wednesdays
at
on
7
Rumble.
p.m. on Rumble exclusively.
Live
We're
chat.
trying to multi-stream to other places, but for now you can find us on
and
Rumble.
You can ask him anything in the chat.
Absolutely.
Join the Patreon, and you can ask him
PaintedHorse
anything.
Yes. Patreon is Painted Horse. We will be going behind a live paywall soon. The post-stream discussions between me and JJ and whoever our guest might be, we will be going there. You guys, if you watch Tim Pool, if you watch these other shows, Jimmy Dore and how they do their paywall stuff and everything, and they do the bonus stuff in that manner, you understand what I'm saying. So I'm sure I'm going in way too much detail here trying to describe it. But some of you folks out there, I realize, aren't that savvy on this shit. So if you need help or more information, reach out.
All right, everyone. Well, have a great week. We'll be back here in a few weeks again.
Yeah, I hope so.
And talk some more.
Yeah. Peace, everybody.
Welcome to the greatest of the greatest, a podcast that you never knew you needed, with interviews from people you have never met, or maybe you have once or twice, asking questions and knowing more than you want to know about them. You are listening